At last, the 2021 Australian Open is here, and with the draw being dropped, of course it's time to do a tournament preview. First, I'll cover the women's draw, go over all the potential matchups, and predict who I think will raise the Daphne Akhurst trophy here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today. First, looking at world number 1 Ash Barty's projected path to the finals, she's projected to face Montenegro's Danka Kovinic, followed by Serena's Tormo in the second round. Ekaterina Alexandrova is the first seed she's projected to face, then it's Croatian Petra Martic in the round of 16. Karolina Pliskova is the quarters opponent, while in the semis she has a chance at revenge over Sofia Kenin. Lastly, in the finals she has Halep. Looking at Barty's actual half with Ash's mini section herself, I think she should reach the third round relatively drama-free. Gavrilova and Serena's Tormo especially could be tough, but I think she'll manage fine. The third round is where things could get really dicey as she would likely face Ekaterina Alexandrova. Alexandrova has been slowly improving through the past year or so, and she's already started off the year with solid results. In Abu Dhabi, she very nearly beat Elina Svitolina, but made up for it in Melbourne, knocking out Iga Swiatek and Simona Halep with ease. Alexandrova and Barty have never played before, and Barty's tricky game filled with variety could disrupt the Russian. While I was close to give Ekaterina the upset, I do think that Barty's skills and experience will get her over the hump. Moving down, we have Anett Kontaveit and Petra Martic on a collision course for a third round encounter, but Shelby Rogers could stand in the way of that happening and defeat Martic. Rogers actually beat Petra a few days ago in Melbourne, so the same could definitely happen again. I'm expecting Martic to learn from her mistakes and get her revenge if they do indeed face off. Kontaveit could also face danger in the opening round against Sasnovich, the Belarusian taking their last 4 of 5 matches. Because I think that Kontaveit has the biggest danger ahead of her, I'll pick Martic to come through to face Barty in the 4th round, then have Ash advance to the quarterfinal. Next, looking at Pliskova's section, 11th seed Belinda Bencic resides at the top, but I'd honestly have her losing to whoever she plays in the second round, Kuznetsova or Strietsova. I say this because not only was she in the hard quarantine, but she looked poor in her lone Melbourne match, plus she hasn't won a singles match in almost over a year. She has no confidence, and I don't expect her game to magically come together here. I think Mertens will come through, even though she has a tricky first rounder against Leylah Annie Fernandez. Elisa is very solid and loves playing in Melbourne, plus she just knows how to win tennis matches. I think the round of 16 she'll play against Pliskova. Karolina has potentially a tricky second round match against Danielle Collins, who actually beat her a few days ago in Melbourne. Collins played very well against Serena. I watched that match, and if the American can sustain that level of play, it'll be very tough for Karolina. However, I have a feeling that Pliskova will get her revenge over Collins, and I have a feeling that Danielle won't be able to keep her level of play up. Regardless, if I was Karolina, I'd hope that Anna Bogdan could maybe pull off the upset. Muchova and Ostapenko are possible third round opponents for Karolina, both of whom have defeated her in a major. That's a tricky first round match in its own, Muchova and Ostapenko, and I will go with Yelena because I think she's in better form currently. I feel a bit shaky with this pick, but I'll have Pliskova advance to the quarters to face Barty. I'm shaky because I definitely feel like quite a few people can beat Karolina in her section, but I also have a feeling that she'll come out and play good tennis this tournament because she's right now flying under the radar. She's only 2-2 on the year thus far, but I think she's trending in the right direction because she played well in Melbourne against Collins even though she lost. Should Karolina and Barty face off though, I'll pick Barty because lately she's gotten the better of the Czech woman, and I do believe having the home crowd is a big advantage. Next, viewing Sofia Kenin's path, the American will open her title defense against Madison Inglis and could face Anastasia Sevastova next. Then in the third round, her projected opponent is Donna Vekic, and in the round of 16, Jo Konta. Kenin may meet Svitolina in the quarters, followed by Barty in the semis, then lastly Simona Halep in the championship. I think Sonia will face Kaia Kanepi in the second round, not Sevastova. The Latvian's variety may disrupt Kanepi, but I doubt it'll do much damage. Sevastova has won just 2 matches in the span of a year, while Kanepi is currently in the finals of the Gibson Trophy. If Kenin and Kanepi do face off, I think it'll be a tough one for both women. Kanepi is a notorious giant slayer, often knocking out the top players in the slams. I do think that Kenin will narrowly avoid this fate because of her extreme fight and problem solving. Vekic is there. She's a player who could reach the quarters at best, but won't go further unless an opponent is injured, of course. I wouldn't be surprised if Nadia Podoroska beat her, as she reached the Roland Garros semifinals and is playing decent tennis on the hard courts. I think that if Jo Konta can get by Kaja Juvan in the first round, she'll reach the quarters, beating Kenin in the process. However, Jen Brady lurks too. She'd also be my pick to take out Sonia. For now though, I'll just stick with Konta. Then looking at Svitolina's section, Azarenka and Sakkari are projected third round opponents, and I see them both coming through to play that match. I think this will be a really big battle, and I believe whoever wins will actually go ahead and reach the semifinal. I'm going to pick Sakkari because I think she's ready for her big breakthrough. She's hungry and one of the fittest women on tour. Still, looking at Alina's mini section, she may face Coco Gauff in the second round, which would be very interesting. Sloane Stephens is a possible third round opponent, but I just think the former Slam champ has far too much going on with her at the moment. I'll be picking Svitolina to advance and ultimately lose to Maria Sakkari. Transitioning to the bottom half of the draw, Naomi Osaka has a horrendous draw, being projected to face Pavlyuchenkova in the first round, Caroline Garcia in the second, Ons Jabeur in the third, Garbiñe Muguruza in the fourth, Bianca Andreescu in the quarters, Halep in the semis, then Barty in the finals. Seeing Bianca's section first, it's a bit tricky for the Canadian. Pronkova in the second round, followed by Venus in the third. Yes, I am picking Venus to come through and beat Wang or Irani because she definitely has the game to do so. I even think V can beat Bianca if the Canadian does reach the third round, because once again, Andreescu has not played a professional match in over a year, and Pronkova can be a tough opponent. It may sound crazy, but I think that if Venus plays how she did last week in Melbourne and takes her chances, she can definitely reach the quarterfinals. She's capable of beating Kvitova, her would-be fourth round opponent, but I'm still a bit shaky about her consistency. Thus, I picked Bianca to beat Venus and reach the fourth round, where I have her losing to Petra. I think Petra has a good draw. Not many people could hurt her, although Vondrousova might give her problems. Still, I think once again she'll reach the last 8. Now, taking a closer look at Naomi's section, a red-hot Muguruza resides at the top with a fairly favorable draw. Kerber is there, but I see Muguruza beating the German should they meet. Despite the high-caliber opponents the Japanese woman is set to face, I picked Naomi to advance to the fourth round to face Muguruza. She is better than Garcia and Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova, and as long as she plays her game, she'll be good. Naomi even said herself that she enjoys having difficult people in slams. Now Muguruza, on the other hand, is a different question, because the Spaniard has been playing very, very well. Should they meet, it'd be an interesting one, as neither women have played one another. I will have Garbiñe advance to the quarters and semis because of the momentum she has coming into this slam. She just needs to make sure that she doesn't lose it, because Naomi will take advantage. Venturing into the bottom section of the bottom half, we'll first look at word number 2, Simona Halep's road to her third major. The Romanian will open up against Lizette Cabrera and is likely to play Aussie Ayla Tomljanovic in the second round. Veronika Kudermetova is the first seed she could face, followed by Roland Garros champ Iga Swiatek. Afterwards, Aryna Sabalenka could meet her in the quarters, and in the semis, Naomi Osaka. Then lastly, in the finals is Ash Barty. Starting with Sabalenka's quarter, there's the obvious fourth round matchup with Serena looming. Aryna could have a tricky second round opponent in Katie Boulter, who played well in Melbourne last week, or Daria Kasatkina, who's regained her form. My guess is Kasatkina, and should they meet, I think Daria will get the upset and knock Sabalenka out. The thing about Sabalenka is that first, she's a player that plays great with momentum. She recently went on a 15-match win streak starting from the near end of 2020 to Abu Dhabi/Melbourne. She has also never reached a major quarterfinal in singles, and made her only round of 16 appearance 2 years ago at the US Open. So yes, I think Kasatkina will come through and beat Sabalenka, but I have her following suit a Alizé Cornet in the third round. Also, going on a bit of a tangent, the Australian Open really set this thing up because they posted a video comparing Arina to Serena. It was a bogus video. I do not watch it. If you do watch it, dislike the video immediately. They were comparing these BS comparisons, drawing the comparisons from the sky and trying to compare, oh, Arina is this, Serena is this, they're both fiery. Did they run out of content? And it's all so convenient that now they're supposed to face off against each other in the fourth round, because here's the plan. They had this draw supposedly behind closed doors. They constructed this draw. They're going to be like, we need this video to blow up. It's going to be the biggest video on Australian Open TV YouTube channel history. So we're going to compare Arina Sabalenka against Serena. We're going to have to play in the fourth round. That's what they think. I don't think it's going to happen, but we're going to have them play in the fourth round and it's going to blow up. No, do not compare Sabalenka to Serena. They have nothing really in common. They're big players. That's it. Sabalenka has not reached a quarterfinal and she's like 20 something years old. No offense to her, but she's not Serena. If anything, just give us the basic Naomi Serena comparisons. Don't do that ever again. It was disgusting. It's tasteful to watch. Now, looking at Serena, the draw does look a bit challenging for her. Siegemund, Begu, and Potapova have all been playing well. I think she'll get through these players though, because for one, she's been playing well, and two, she can beat them on her C game even. I have Serena coming through this quarter. The last quarter I have to look at is HALEP'S. Swiatek is at the top and is set to play Rybakina in the third round. Elena though has a tricky opening round match against Zvonareva, but I still have her winning. However, I think Iga will come through and reach the round of 16. Simona, I think, has a pretty favorable draw, although Kudermetova or Kostyuk might be tricky though in the third round. I think HALEP'S experience will get her through to the fourth round to play Swiatek. Now, I don't know if her back will be able to hold up, as she does have an injury in that area. I will go with Swiatek though to advance and face Serena in the quarters due to HALEP'S back injury and uncertainty with that. There I see Serena Williams advancing to the semis. For my final predictions, I have Barty and Serena facing off, with Serena winning the title. I honestly hope that Serena does what she's supposed to do and at least reach the semifinals, because I predicted her to win the last two Australian Opens, and we all know how that turned out, although she should have won it in 2019 if it weren't for that ankle, but that's a different video. To me, Serena and Garbiñe have been in the best form in the lead-up tournaments. Garbiñe actually slightly better than Serena. My concern with the Spaniard, though, is being able to mentally withstand that projected path. It's very tough having to face all those players and, of course, Osaka in the fourth round. Then, of course, can she maintain the high level of play? She's known to be very streaky. And if she's going to show up and show out in this lead-up tournament, what are you going to do for the slam? Are you going to just, come on now, we need to see your best tennis. So I do think she'll play her best tennis. We'll see what happens with that. On the other side of the draw, I have Barty and Sakkari reaching the semifinals. I think that Barty has a decent draw and also has that crowd support behind her. And I wouldn't be surprised if any of these four semifinalists I picked went on to win the title, but for me, it's going to be Serena. Although I briefly highlighted them when I was going over the draw, here are all my first round popcorn matches. Then also, here are some of my dark horse picks who could also do damage. The tournament starts Monday, February 8th, which is when the bottom half players of the women's draw will begin their campaigns. Serena, Osaka, and Halep will be on Rod Laver Arena. Venus, Kerber, Kvitova are on Margaret Court. Andreescu is on John Cain, while Swiatek plays at the 1573 Arena. That's all for this tournament preview, and let me know what you think about the draw and my predictions in the comment section below. Feel free to give your own predictions as well. Also, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified when I post the men's draw preview as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today.